Hello carnivores! Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching. As I said in my previous video, I'm going to focus on one thing that I dealt with or that the carnivore diet has helped me with. This time I'm going to talk about acid reflux and heartburn and the causes for me, which I had hiatal hernia, which I was diagnosed with back in my mid-20s, 20 years ago. So yeah, I'm giving away my age. And 5 years later, roughly, I was diagnosed with gastroparesis, which is stomach paralysis. So we're gonna get into that a little bit. When I first started the carnivore diet, it was kind of hard for me, and I didn't understand why. My husband fell right into it and had no issues whatsoever. He's one of those that the carnivore diet was perfect for them. Me, I wasn't. I had a lot of issues. My heartburn, and after the first week or two, started to get really bad. And I thought I'm going to have to stop the carnivore diet, which I didn't want to because I started to feel so good. My energy came back, my brain fog was going away. So I was seeing a lot of good things, but the amount of acid reflux that I was experiencing was so bad that I couldn't. So I did a little bit more research, and I read different doctors, different outlook on it. There was from the carb diet to the keto diet to the carnivore diet, and different experts. I focused on research-based, Dr. Berry especially, and a couple of other videos that I saw that had success with the heartburn. I had heard a while ago, before carnivore diet, that a lot of people have acid reflux due to low acid, not high acid, which is the reason why oftentimes the apple cider vinegar helps reduce their symptom. It didn't make sense to me until I started to delve deeply into it. I think there was a video that Dr. Berry had done explaining stuff like that. Also, Dr. Berg had done a video explaining it. Forget who the other two people were, but in any case, and the end result was, I believe Dr. Berry is the one who explained that when you have the right amount of acid in your stomach, that's when the signal goes to your brain to close the esophagus. You know, we all have little valves or sphincters. So the esophagus sphincter between the stomach and the esophagus is triggered to close when the acid is high in the stomach. So when the acid is low, then that sphincter doesn't close. Of course, I have hiatal hernia, so I have that going against me as well, where a part of my stomach is above the diaphragm. I did do some exercises to try to push it back down. I believe mine is mostly traveling hiatal hernia. I'm not sure. It was never really diagnosed, the type of hiatal hernia that I have, but I do push it down, and when I do, it feels better. I did go to a chiropractor who did it for me a couple of times, but the stress causes shallow breathing or weakening of the diaphragm. It makes it go back up, and apparently a lot of people have been diagnosed in the past few years with hiatal hernia, men, women. I don't think there's a difference. I feel one of the biggest things that contribute to that is the stress, the shallow breathing, but also probably the low acid as well. It's crazy when you research the side effects of low acid in the stomach. I mean, you're talking about different health issues, hair, nails, a lot of it depends on the level of acid in your stomach. And if it's low, then you have to fix that. And this is actually how I fixed it. So low stomach acid, carbohydrates. Hypothyroidism, low stomach acid. Also, and this is another thing, I was starting to get into perimenopause, the pre-menopause phase, and my cycle was changing. It was started to get further and further apart. Almost every month or every other month, it was further and further apart. It was 2-3 days late, 5 days late, 2-3 days late, 5 days late, and all my life I was on the dot, 28 days. And that started, I want to say, a few months, maybe 6 to 9 months before I started the carnivore diet. So I started the carnivore diet March of 2023. In June, I went to see my gynecologist. And she's the one who ordered my thyroid test when I asked her for it. And then I told her that I'm on the carnivore diet. And just as I told her that, she turned around with her chart, with my chart in her hand, and she said, well, you know, the carnivore diet reverses menopause. And I told her, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I want to say November, December 2023, my cycle started to become normal again. In December 2023, I took a blood test that I bought myself online. And my estrogen was back to normal. The FSH test, which measures whether you're on the cusp of menopause or into menopause, in June, it was still at that level. In December, it had shot back up, or actually down, because it was 32 and it went down to 10, which is a normal during the time of the cycle that I had. And then I took another test in March, and it got even better. And my cycle became literally 27 to 28 days again, every month since December. It has been unbelievable. So yes, the carnivore diet does reverse menopause or perimenopause. I don't know if once you get into menopause, if it reverses it, but I was in the beginning stages, so it reversed it. It wasn't 30 something days anymore. It was back down to 28, 27 days, something like that. It was a couple of months was 28, 1 month it was 27, and then the next month was 28. So it's irrelevant, the 1 day difference. But so December, January, February, March, and April, all 4 months have been perfect 28, and one of them was 27. Now, again, menopause does lower your stomach acid. So now I had hypothyroidism, undiagnosed. I was starting perimenopause, and I wasn't eating properly. I had 3 things against me to cause acid reflux. Plus I had the hiatal hernia. Now I switched to carnivore diet, and that has helped. Of course, the betaine, HCl. So I believe it was Dr. Berry's video where he explained to take betaine hydrochloride, which is acid for your stomach, to add acid into your stomach, probably right before or during or immediately after the meal. He said, you take the amount that makes you feel comfortable, then the next meal take one, like that amount plus 1, until you see, once you feel that warm sensation in your stomach, then you know that the plus 1 was too much and go back to the comfortable level. The bottle says to take 2 capsules per meal. I actually took 6 capsules per meal when I first started the carnivore diet. And then I added +1, and that's the 7th is when I felt that warm sensation. And I stayed on the 6th for quite some time. And I was then able to finally stick with the carnivore diet and get the benefits from it. I think I was starting to get malnutrition because the food wasn't digested. So that was a huge, huge help for me. I also added enzymes. The one I get, I'm not associated with them. Don't get any money from them by saying this, but it's called Masszyme, and it was created to give athletes the maximum amount of protein per meal, because it breaks the food down to the point where you utilize the most protein from it possible. And I found that to work better for me together with the betaine, because I was able to have more acid and I was able to get more protein from each meal, since I couldn't eat large meals like most people. I went back to eating 3 meals a day, and I'll get into that. It's mostly due to my gastroparesis, which is a slow stomach emptying. Now again, I don't know if I actually have gastroparesis or the fact that my low stomach acid was causing that, because what Dr. Berry explained is the sphincter on the bottom of your stomach also gets a signal once you have the amount of acid that you're supposed to have, meaning that you're digesting food. The sphincter starts to relax. So the esophagus closes, the bottom one by the duodenum, that opens to release the food into your duodenum, your small intestine. So I don't know if my slow stomach emptying was due to me not having enough acid and they just diagnosed me with gastroparesis. Again, gastroparesis is a muscle problem. It's paralysis in the stomach muscle where the muscle is not churning the food anymore. You're supposed to be contracting to churn your food and help mix it with the acid. But I don't think they necessarily were able to say that was it. I did check my vagus nerve, which is a nerve that comes down in the back of your neck. It's one of the main nerves that have to do with a lot of things in your body. And it's the nerve that connects to the stomach to send a signal. And I figured maybe I have a pinched nerve in my neck that's causing the vagus nerve to not send a signal. But at that point, I didn't have any issues. Well, at least I took an MRI and there was no issues. So I was able to figure out, okay, at least it's not the vagus nerve. You know, the only thing is, I don't know, they said that you can have a bad stomach virus that pretty much attacks the muscle or the nerve and causes it not to work or work more lazy. Anyways, I'm hoping that eventually by raising my stomach acid, that problem will be taken care of. Now, another thing I figured out is your stomach acid is reduced when you have hypothyroidism. Going back to carnivore and heartburn, find out if your issue is low stomach acid. Most of the time, yes, it is. Find out if the HCl, betaine HCl, helps you. If it does, like Dr. Berry had explained, keep taking them until you feel finally comfortable and you don't have the pains or the bloatness or whatever side effects that you feel from lack of proper digestion. So take as many as you need. It might fluctuate. I actually had gone up to 6, went down to 4, and then to 3. And I feel recently something happened and I have to go back up to 4. I have to figure it out. Maybe it's a thyroid thing. I don't know. I will find out in about a month or 2 when I take the test. And I will definitely come back and let you guys know. So take the betaine HCl and see if that helps you. try to work on, if you have hiatal hernia, see if you can do some exercises. Another exercise that's less invasive than digging your fingers into your chest and pushing down is diaphragm strengthening exercises. You can find those on YouTube. And also I saw a video where you wake up in the morning, you drink a couple of glasses of water, and you raise your arms in order to open up your chest, and you go on your toes, and then you fall down on your heels, causing your stomach with the weight of the water to drop. That might help as well. And that requires strengthening your diaphragm. So if you do have hiatal hernia, see if that's something else that could help you. If you have one of those small little trampolines, you can do that. You can drink 2 glasses of water and raise your arms behind your head and keep them, like this, and just jump on the trampoline or again on your toes and then fall to your heels. Gastroparesis, if you have been diagnosed with gastroparesis, find out if the test was done specifically as a gastroparesis test or a stomach emptying test. If you have been diagnosed with gastroparesis just based on your stomach emptying, I would ask your doctor to do further testing, because your stomach emptying could be affected by the amount of acid that you have in your stomach. And I would try that as well. I would add acid to your stomach until your digestion is better, and then see if that speeds up your stomach emptying test. But I would definitely talk to your doctor about making sure they have it right. There's other testing that they can do to make sure that it is gastroparesis. It has been misdiagnosed before multiple times. So thyroid causes low stomach acid. Menopause, perimenopause also reduce your acid, so work on those. If you do decide to go to carnivore diet and you're having problems like I did, take the betaine HCl and see if the ball starts rolling and you start feeling better. My energy has improved. Like I said, my estrogen improved. I'm now able to work out more frequently than I was before. I was losing a lot of my muscle weight and my mass, and I'm putting it back on now. Unfortunately, I have to work it back up to where it was. But as long as I'm going into the right direction, that's all that matters. And eventually, hopefully, I'll get back to the weights that I was doing before, and maybe even more now that I'm eating more protein. I hope this video helps you guys and help you not just follow exactly what I did, because I'm a big believer there is no one size fits all. So, but my biggest advice to you is do your research, be your own advocate, and don't take anybody's word at full value and just live by it. Your body is different. You're the only person that knows how it works and what it needs, because you feel it and nobody else does. Do your own research, be your own advocate, and yes, you have to do homework, but try to stick with the proper human diet. Ketovore to the least, but stay away from carbs. All right, carnivores, or carnivores, future carnivores. See you next video. Thanks for watching.